Hey guys, welcome back to the Crafty Couple. It's a brand new week and we hope you are having a wonderful day. Today we are super excited for our new video. We hope you guys enjoy it. It's a little bit out of our comfort zone and our first attempt at a glam video. It was a ton of fun to do something different and try something new. So we hope that you guys enjoy it and love it as much as we do. And as always, if you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments which one's your favorite.
This first project is super easy. We're going to be starting out with one of these glass vases from Dollar Tree and these cute plastic diamonds. I'm going to be hot gluing the flat part of the diamond and having the pointy part facing out. And we're going to be putting it around the whole entire vase. So what I'm doing is just starting at the very bottom and we're going to be wrapping it around the whole entire bottom. And luckily they do fit perfectly all the way around. When you get the bottom layer complete, you're just going to move on to the next layer and you are going to just put that in between the two. So you're just going to offset them just slightly, just so that they sit very perfectly. And then you're just going to keep doing this for the whole entire vase. I have seen this done several times just with the clear glass beads from Dollar Tree, but I really like this because it gives it a different look with these diamonds. It's a lot different texture and I like that it's a lot more glam look. This is what it looks like completely finished. You can add these Dollar Tree fairy lights to it. It can give a very beautiful light effect, or you can just leave it plain like I did in the end. Let me know in the comments below if you would do it with or without the lights. And then to finish it off, I just added a few flowers that I got from Walmart. For this project, I'm starting out with this sign from Dollar Tree, and you can use any sort of rectangular sign from there. On mine, I just had a wooden heart that I needed to take off. Once I took that off, I needed to sand down the letters a little bit and sand it down where that heart was. At first, I did paint mine pink. At the end, I did paint it a black color. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you love pink in your decor. I really love it with flowers, but I just couldn't stick with it with this sign. I did end up painting it black in the end, like you'll see later in the video. So just let me know in the comments if you really love this pastel pink or if you tend to stick with more black. So it's a little hard to see, but I wanted a template for the wire that I will be using to write out the word babe. You can print out the word babe or you can write it out, but I needed something. So I just taped this down on poster board so I had my template. I would just be using this floral wire to be tracing my template. I don't know where all my Etsy girls are at that do all this wire crafting, but I don't know who you are or what wizardry you'd use. I had the hardest time writing this, and if you don't want to watch me struggle, skip ahead about 2 minutes, but I struggled so bad trying to trace this out. I really have no idea how y'all do it. But if you do decide to do this, the easiest way that I found to do it is to tape down one side, follow your template, and then just keep taping as you go once you get a letter figured out, and that helps so much. Now that we are done with that, leave some excess after the E and then cut the wire just so that we have some room to place it. This part is totally unnecessary and totally optional. I just really don't know when to stop with crafts, but I just took these Halloween lights and I'm going to be wrapping it around the whole entire sign just so that it lights up. And here's the pink, like I said before. This is when I started to realize that I wasn't a huge fan of the pink, and I later painted it black. So with the lights, they are wire, so I just started with the one end that is not attached to the battery pack, and I just started wrapping it all the way around with the E, and then I just kept wrapping it and wrapping it and wrapping it until it reached all the way around to the other end. Also, if you are ever wondering about the tools and supplies that we use, we have a list of all of that in the description below. When the lights are completely done, you can just make tiny adjustments to make sure they are placed where you want. On the end of the E, it was just a little bit too far out, so I placed it a little bit in just so that it wasn't hanging off the edge. And then once you have that kind of where you want, you will just use wire cutters and cut at the end of the E. Then do the same thing for the other side, just make sure to only cut the floral wire and not the fairy lights. Then for the black, I used the ink Waverly chalk paint. Here in the video, I am holding it where I wanted it, and then I am taking a pencil and just drawing lines, and then put hot glue and then placed it on. That's how I thought I was going to place it on and keep it there. By morning, it had come off and peeled the paint up, and it did not work. So this is a great way to show you how not to apply it. So if I was to do this again, just put hot glue at the end of the E and at the very beginning of the B. That's all you need to attach it. It looks way better that way, and it's super light, so it doesn't need anything else to hold it on. Now to attach the rest of everything, like the wire and the battery pack, we are going to hot glue the wire just so it sits flat, and then the battery pack we will just kind of fold around. Make sure that the screw part is facing out so that you can change the battery if you need to, and then hot glue the bottom and just place it on. And then I just put 2 tumbling tower blocks so that it can kind of sit up. You can hang this on the wall if you want to. You would just put a little nail and hang the top lip part, but I really liked it sitting on a table.
For this project, we're going to be using 3 of these little square decor pieces, and just go ahead and remove the little parts that stick out on these. You don't need those at all. And what we're going to do is start by gluing these together to make our stand. You will need these 6-inch dowels from Dollar Tree, and we're going to be using a total of 8 of these. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and glue these in each corner, and we're just using hot glue. For this project, it worked pretty well. If you do want a stronger hold, as always, we do recommend using something more like E6000 or a wood glue, something that you know is going to last longer and have more of a permanent hold. We like to use the hot glue for time purposes. And then of course we don't need these hangers on the back, so go ahead and remove those, and then we'll just start gluing these in the bottom here. For the hot glue, I like to put a little dab on the bottom of the dowel and then run a little bit in that corner there, and then make sure what you're doing is pushing it all the way up into that corner and all the way down so that you can try to get these to sit as even as possible when they're done. After we have all 4 of those glued, I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue on each of these dowels, and then we're gonna glue this on the bottom of the other box. So this is one where you may want to use a firmer glue like E6000 because there's not a lot of contact here when we're gluing the dowel down to the bottom of this. So if you wanted to let this sit overnight with some E6000, this would hold a lot more than just some hot glue. Once we have the first 2 shelves complete, we can move on to the top one, and we're just going to complete this doing the same exact thing that we did for the first 2. So go ahead and glue these in the corners, and then we'll flip it over and glue it on top of that second shelf. And when you guys are gluing these on, you do want to make sure you're trying to get it as center as possible so that they line up, but also so that the mirrors can fit in between here. Once we have all the pieces glued together, we can move on to painting, and I'm just using this metallic silver spray paint from Rustoleum, and we're going to go ahead and spray paint the whole thing. One thing I like to do as well when I'm painting, I like to try and glue as much of it together as I can before paint, so that when I do apply the paint, it's covering up and hiding any glue that may be sticking out. So the next part, what we're going to do is go ahead and add these little mirrors on each shelf. So these are just those little square mirrors that you can get from Dollar Tree, and we're going to go ahead and glue those in the middle of each of these shelves. Like I said earlier, this is where it comes in handy. If you're able to glue these pieces on straight and aligned, it will make it that much easier to fit these square mirror pieces in. After we have the mirrors glued down, we can move on to the diamonds, and I used, I think, about 2 packs of these for this project. And what I'm doing is putting a little bit of glue on the bottom of these and then gluing them upright. Now you will want to hold them for just a minute while you're gluing these, just to make sure that they stay upright. They tend to fall either direction since you just have that little point at the bottom. And then in between each of these dowels, you should be able to fit 6 of these diamonds. For the corners, what I did is I glued them at an angle, so they're not upright, but each corner is kind of facing out, and I'll show you that in just 1 second. So as you can see here, it's just kind of at an angle pointing outwards from each corner. Once we've completed our diamonds along the base here, we can move on to our jewels. So this is just that flat sheet of jewels that has a sticky back. And what I did is I lined it up with the box here and then cut it at the end. And the amount that you're going to use is 5 rows. So you'll want to measure it to the length and then count up 5 rows, and that should fit almost perfectly for each side. As you can see, that fits almost perfectly and looks great. So we're going to do that along the whole bottom layer here. And what I would suggest is the sheet that you cut that piece out of, just go to the same length and then mark another 5 jewels in and then cut that piece out. It's a really easy way to make sure you're getting the same amount and same size each time. And then once we've completed that bottom part, we can move on to this middle section. For the middle section, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go along the side all the way around with the jewels, but for the top of it, I'm doing it a little bit different here. So what you have to do is take the jewels and cut out a little area so that it can fit around the dowels, as you can see there. So it takes a little bit of measurement and messing around with it. Originally, what I was going to do is the diamonds just like I did on the bottom, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. I thought I'd give it some more character. So if you do it this way, it might be easier to just get a big sheet of those jewels and glue down first before you do the mirror and then glue the mirror on top of that, so you don't have to do as much cutting and measuring like I'm doing here. I think that that would work a lot easier. So just mess with it, see what works out best for you. If you guys do want to, you can still do the diamonds along each row though. Let me know too if you guys like kind of this change with the middle row being different with just the jewels, or if you thought that the diamonds would look better there. Once we have that middle row complete, we can move on to the top, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the bottom row. So go ahead and cut out your jewels and glue them all the way around the outside, and then the diamonds on top. And as I was completing this project and kind of looking at it, I thought that it would look really pretty and clean with just the jewels as well. So if you guys wanted to do the jewels all the way around it and no diamonds, I would say go for it. As always, we like to just try and give you some ideas and then allow you guys to create your own projects as well. Or if you want to follow directly, that is totally fine also. And the final little touch I wanted to do was add these puck lights. So go ahead and flip your stand upside down, and then you can glue these on just like this, so that they are shining down on whatever you want to display, jewelry, maybe perfume or something like that. But I thought this was a super fun project and different, so I hope you guys enjoy the glam. It was a lot of fun to do. I wanted to show you guys real quick too something else that we did that was really fun. You can get these mop heads from Dollar Tree and create kind of like a little rug, I guess you could call it. And we use this in our video to display. Let me know what you guys think if you wanted to sew it or glue it. I think that it gives a very high-end, modern glam feel, but we just wanted to show you another quick little thing that you could do with these mop heads.
Hopefully you guys have made it this far into the video. I really hope you did. We are going to grab one of these gold medal baskets, and then I painted it silver. We're going to make a whole chandelier from this, and I am so excited. And then you will also need 3 packs of these diamond wrap ribbon. For this first layer, you will need to count 12 down for your template piece, and then you will just need 20 of those. So use your template piece and just go off that, so you don't have to count 12 down every time. When you have all of those cut, you will cut up the middle of each of those strips up until the very top. Do not cut the very top layer, because that's what you're going to use to attach it to the basket. When all 20 of those are cut, it's time to add them to the very bottom of the basket. We cut 20 of them because there are 20 little places that you can put them on the very bottom of the basket. There are 6 on each of the longer sides and 4 on the shorter sides. So run a small piece of hot glue and just put them in between each place. Just keep working all the way around until that is complete. If you made it this far into the video, I want to personally thank you so much from the bottom of my heart We have worked really hard to get to this point, and you guys have been asking for glam for a really long time. We really stepped out of our comfort zone to do this, but we really went out when we did this, and I can now say that this is one of my favorite styles, and it was so fun to step out and do something that we've never done before. This is what it should look like with all 20 of those pieces on there. We will be adding a second layer at the very top, and I will be measuring kind of just about how far down I want to add that, because I do want to cover up a little bit of that second layer. This can really be however big you want it to be. You can make these a lot longer than you want. You can have as many layers as you want, so you can really customize this as much as you want. My top layer is 21 diamonds long, which happens to be my lucky number, so you can do yours however many you want, but that's how many mine ended up being. Once again, I did a template and I just cut a bunch. There isn't a certain number that I did just a bunch of them, because there aren't certain slots that you're going to be putting them in like we did at the bottom. You're just going to do it so it fills the whole top. I did grab this adhesive diamond wrap and I'm putting it on the bottom and the front and both of the sides in the end, just to cover up the actual basket, and it makes it look a lot nicer and a lot more full. I would do this before you add the very top layer. I did it at the very end, which ended up being a lot harder. All you do with this is just measure out your area, and then you're just going to cut it, and then I used the adhesive that was on there, and then I just pressed it on there and it sticks just fine. We're just going to do what we did with the bottom layer and cut almost all the way up just to that very top layer. Once they are cut, just start hot gluing them all on. Put them pretty close together so they all look like one piece. Just keep placing them all the way around. This should be a lot easier if you've added the adhesive on the front and the two sides, if you're doing a sconce like I am. If you are hanging this, do the adhesive all the way around the back as well, just so that it looks complete. My last piece fit perfectly in there. Hopefully that works the same for you as well. And like I said before, I added all of my adhesive after I added the next layer, and that made it a lot harder. You'll be able to see how much this changes the chandelier's look. I love how this makes it look a lot more full. Plus when we add the lights on the inside, it just makes it so that you can't see the lights as much, and it just looks a lot more professional. Since one will be a sconce, it'll need to sit a little bit away from the wall, and to do that I'm using just a little bit of foam board. This will be just enough to kind of push it away from the wall. So what I did was cut just 2 little pieces and I'm hot gluing them. They will stick just a little bit out, just enough to push it out so that it'll sit straight out from the wall. Just remember, if you're doing the sconce, just add the adhesive to the sides and the front. You won't need it in the back, just since that will be right on the wall. So this is the puck like we're going to be putting on at the top. That one will be completely hidden. The other one we're going to be placing underneath. That one we will be placing a diamond wrap over it, just so that you just can't tell it's there. I, of course, went extra and added a whole other layer all the way around. So just like we did before where we cut the pieces, I did them 21 diamonds long again and cut up just like we did with all the other layers, and I put it all the way around. It added that 3rd tier layer. Just let me know in the comments what you think, if you like that 3rd tier or if you would have kept it just the 2.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video. We also wanted to let you know we have a top 10 video with some of our favorite projects that we've completed over the last year. I'll have a link for that right here so you can jump through and watch it. If you enjoy our videos, I promise that one will not let you down. As always, guys, though, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time we upload a new video.